STonhenge BUILT, 1954.
Built by Stonehenge man, 2700 BC, or was it? This is a site, pre-construction, 1954. Here's a set of pictures showing the site getting built. The photos apparently come from Russia, from one of the KGB archives or something, but it's pretty interesting. And that's the interesting photos, so put a link to the address. Look, there they are putting the capstones on. Digging the trenches for putting the other ones in. A lot of work, a lot of people involved too. You'll see all the construction people, all the kids and all sorts of stuff, who's alive and what's going on. Guys inspecting the stones before they put them into the ground. Now, I never heard any mention of Stonehenge in a Doomsday Book or anything like that. In fact, all I know about Stonehenge was that apparently, according to the Irish legend, it was stolen from Uisneach, which is the centre of Ireland, and it was taken to England by Merlin the wizard, so that's all I know about it. But these photos look pretty authentic, and it'd be a hell of a job to stage manage them. A lot of work going on, so I don't know what the crack is anyway. Let's see what you think. I'll put a link to the blog spot where they are, and anybody recognises anybody in the photos can verify whether they're true or not. How did Stonehenge get there? Built in 1954. Never heard it mentioned by Shakespeare or any of them other ones really. Like, does Chaucer mention it in the Canterbury Tales? You know what I mean? And you don't hear much really about Salisbury Plain or battles being fought around it or anything like that, and you think of the plain they would have battles because that's where the Irish held their battles, in the plain of the Boyne, like. So there you are, a load of crazy photos of Stonehenge. Check out the story. He must be alive somewhere. Who is he? He'd be 60 or 70 now. Right, thank you very much and good luck.
It was designed for something completely different. What I really want to know is, what is the truth about Stonehenge? Hello, I'm Robert John Langdon, and this is a video on Stonehenge where I will debunk most of the myths that have developed over the years to tell you the truth about Stonehenge, how it was made, who made it, and why it was made. Now, the first fact that any interested person should look into is Stonehenge's position in the landscape. There's a very good reason why someone should look at this, because some of the theories, and they are astronomical, come up with the idea that Stonehenge was built for the alignments of stars, moons and planets as the paramount reason for its construction. Now, if that is the case, then one would imagine you placed this monument in the highest position possible in its landscape, due to the fact that you'll be able to see the stars, the moon, sunrise and sunset at its best aspect, away from the trees and the high horizon obscuring your sunrise or your sunset or the movement of the stars. The reality is that Stonehenge is actually built halfway down a hill. One would have to ask the question, why would you build an astronomical observatory halfway down a hill? You can move Stonehenge in either a southwestern direction or an eastern direction by about 500 meters and actually find yourself on top of the landscape in the area. So why build it halfway down the hill? Now, if we travel to the bottom of the hill that Stonehenge lies upon, we actually get an answer to the question why Stonehenge was built halfway up this hill. Because at the bottom of this hill is what's known as a dry river valley. Except when Stonehenge was built, it wasn't dry. It's dry today, as dry most areas because the groundwaters have been receding for the last 10,000 years since the Ice Age melted, flooded the landscape, and since then our land has been drying up. The groundwater runs into the sea at a very slow rate, and that process has been speeded up in the last couple of hundred years by industrialization and housing, because the water you drink out of your tap doesn't come from the river, it comes from groundwater, and that's a hell of a lot of water that we've been drinking and using over the last 200-300 years, and that's why groundwater levels are dropping. But in the past, groundwater levels were surrounded by water. This revelation shouldn't be a surprise to any intelligent person, as it actually then answers one of the biggest questions about Stonehenge and one of the greatest myths about Stonehenge, as we saw on the ridiculous documentary at the start of this video. Do we really believe that hundreds of men held on to the ends of ropes dragging stones across Salisbury Plain because they got nothing better to do? I don't think so. In history we know that monuments have been built of great size by using boats. Boats bring stones to places where temples have been constructed. The Egyptians did it, the Greeks did it, the Babylonians did it, and for some strange reason, our archaeologists. And lastly, on this video, I'd like to debunk the most important aspect of Stonehenge, which is its date of construction. Dating of Stonehenge is quite interesting because you can't date stone, and you can't date ditches. The only thing you can date is artifacts found on the site, and that's exactly where we get our dates from Stonehenge. Their perception of the ditch was that it was dry. We clearly have shown that this ditch was not dry but very wet. Now the artifacts found in the ditch could only be placed there after the moat had dried up, not when the moat was dug. And this is where we get the last myth and the biggest problem. The archaeologists have carbon dated the tools they believe dug the ditch, which is known as an antler pick. And these antler picks have come up with date. Antler picks are quite soft. They're not, for one very good reason. There's a much better tool available to the people of that time, and it's called a stone axe. Stone axes don't break. They're easier to use and they're more efficient. Only an idiot would use an antler pick to try and dig into chalk. It's probably the same idiots that were dragging the large stones around the Salisbury Plain we saw a bit earlier. So why are the antler picks there, and what were they used for? Well, if anybody out there has got a pond, you will soon find that any
Salisbury Plain in southern England, 2500 BC. At the same time as the pyramids in Egypt are under construction, workers here complete the outer circle of Stonehenge. They haul huge rocks, some weighing up to 45 tons, across rough terrain. They work each granite-like stone into shape, then pull them upright to form the great stone circle. Thousands of people work on this massive project. But while we know this was an incredible feat of engineering, who these people were and why they built Stonehenge has remained one of the great unsolved mysteries of the ancient world.
Hang on a minute, this is a load of old nonsense. What I really want to know is, what is the truth about Stonehenge? Recent paper by the University of London, Southampton and Manchester about the discovery of a quarry that provided the bluestones of Stonehenge at Craig Roski Valley caught the eye of the world by archaeologists announcing Stonehenge was originally built in Wales, then transferred to Salisbury Plain some 500 years later. Sadly, it seems this is totally incorrect and inaccurate, as we will see. The Craig Roski Valley, a Welsh bluestone megalith quarry for Stonehenge, was a report published in December's edition of Antiquity magazine. It stated that a series of radiocarbon dates were found on the site by a 4-long megalith, which was ready for transportation, made of a rock which was microscopically identified as the same bluestone as the rocks that surround the existing Stonehenge site. Moreover, the report's authors had decided that just 2 random sample dates, the 2 closest to their well-publicised hypothesis on Stonehenge's construction date, would be headlined and advertised to the mass media. Despite these published radiocarbon dates, the archaeologists had an obvious problem, as the samples were still 500 years older than the dates they were hoping to find. So they had to invent a new story to compensate for this poor science. And so started the speculation in their report that the monument was originally built in Wales, then moved at a later date. This will no doubt be followed by another report in a few years' time, as archaeologists love to do lucrative lecture tours on limited tidbits of information. Finding the remains of a few bluestones within a short distance of the quarry, and then claiming them as evidence of the original Stonehenge. This would probably be followed by an even more lucrative lecture tour. Nevertheless, if we take an unbiased and more analytical view of the report, we find something very different from the media claims, and much more scientifically interesting. What was contained in detail within the report, overlooked, was the fact that a considerable number of Mesolithic radiocarbon dates, 14 compared to just 2 Neolithic dates, the report headline, were obtained from actual human-made halves, which were much, much earlier in history compared to the 2 random nutshells found in the occupation area, which could have been scattered by animals or even the weather. Consequently, the lowest material found in the excavated area, remembering not the entire site was excavated, was dated at 8,550 to 8,330 BCE. These earlier and more frequent dates are from halves rather than just random nutshells, and were completely overlooked by the team, as it was perceived to be too early to have a connection to Stonehenge. Nevertheless, this connection was well established some 50 years ago, and was reported in a press release by myself in August 2011, entitled "The Stonehenge Enigma, an Inconvenient Truth." The article shows that English Heritage did their utmost to conceal the truth about the real probable date of Stonehenge being 5,000 years earlier than their current position. This scientific evidence was based on radiocarbon dating of 3 giant post holes found in a visitor's car park during its construction in 1960. Excavated by the Open University, continuing his blog work, And as a consequence, these new unofficial pictures have been made available, showing even more poststones are under rivers connected, then plateaued for thousands of years, possibly up to 130. There is no evidence of any Mesolithic quarrying or working of rawhide from this crop. This is an astonishing unscientific claim, for how would they know what tool marks are either Mesolithic or Paleolithic? Would they not be using the same tools? And secondly, what do they think they were doing in the quarry during this 1500-year period? However, what is quite remarkable is the fact that this is a rawhide quarry. For back in Stonehenge Pit 9580, which was excavated in 1989, there was found to be in line. However, we can now narrow down the exact date for the construction of phase 1 of Stonehenge, the bluestone placements in Woodbury holes, to 7,490 to 7,335 BCE.
Stonehenge is one of the most famous ancient sites in the world, with over 800,000 visitors each year, but it's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to not only circles, but structures in general that are made from large slabs of rock. In early 2013, we toured the UK to explore some of the lesser known ancient ruins, and since that trip we have been on an amazing voyage of discovery. A quartz crystal pavement running between the
circle. You're facing this way, it's directly southwest towards this double feature here.
Yeah, so this is really much more like a long barrow than a dolmen, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, they're more or less the same thing, but one is just kind of long and covered in earth. This one hasn't got much earth around it, but it's got like a small brick wall around it. It looks old also. But this is probably, like with a lot of these sites, been used at different ages. You know, like the dolmen builders and the tomb builders did it a lot.
hundreds of photos have been built with cranes. History is bunk. History has been invented by the masters. Search Stonehenge built 1952. Stonehenge is fake. I'll leave that with you. But research Stonehenge is built and flyeth.